Chapter 581, Oddity, 2, Enchanting stared at the temple and frowned. She seemed to be facing her greatest enemy. How is it possible? We ran for so long, and we still end up at the same place. Is there an illusion array? Is that why we can't get out of this place? The Blood Moon Elder said in disbelief. Enchanting shook her head. There was no energy turbulence of an array in their surroundings, so they were not trapped in an array formation. We have all sinned, the Blood Moon Elder said softly suddenly and walked towards the temple. Blood Moon Elder. Enchanting narrowed her eyes as she stared at the Blood Moon Elder. I have committed many sins. I shall use my blood to redeem my sins. The Blood Moon Elder suddenly knelt in front of the temple and murmured. His face and eyes were full of regret. This is bad. Enchanting did not hesitate anymore. She stepped forward and stopped behind the Blood Moon Elder instantly. Enchanting used her palm and hit the Blood Moon Elder. He lost his consciousness and fell. Enchanting did not have other choices. He would kill himself if she did not hit him. Enchanting planned to bring the Blood Moon Elder away from this place, but suddenly, she heard a voice. The voice sounded like the chanting of ancient gods, and one could not hear any other voice on earth. Enchanting felt her body was stiff. I have sinned, Enchanting murmured and dragged her stiff body forward a few meters. She knelt down on the ground when she reached the front of the temple. There was an elegant stone Buddha in the temple. The Buddha suddenly opened its eyes and said softly, "You have sinned the moment you are born." I have sinned. Enchanting was filled with sadness all of a sudden. You need to use your blood to wash off your sins. The soft voice of the Buddha appeared again. Use my blood. Enchanting's eyesight was firm. Clank. The demonic blood sword was held in her hand. The demonic blood sword was placed beside her neck at the next second. She could chop off her head at any moment. Suddenly, the blood moon at her glabella suddenly appeared, and a strong force surrounded her. A tall shadow appeared through her blood moon at the same time. It was a cold man with silver hair. His eyes were expressionless, and they seemed to be able to suppress everything in the world. Break! The shadow shouted and broke the delusive voice. A ball of strong energy exploded out of her blood moon as the shadow's voice spread out. The energy surrounded Enchanting. Enchanting's expression changed, and her entire life was replaying inside her brain. She had never done anything harmful since she was born. She only killed those who intended to murder her. She had never hurt anyone innocent. Where is my sin? Enchanting gritted her teeth and struggled to get up from the ground. Her birth was a part of nature's rule and the result of human reproduction. There was no sin. She had never hurt anyone innocent in her entire life. There was no sin. Even the Buddha could not accuse her of any sin. Where is my sin? Enchanting's eyesight changed from confusion to firmness. Her eyes sparkled, and there was no trace of uncertainty at all. Chapter 582, Oddity, 3, The Buddha in the Temple chuckled. You are born with sin. Enchanting frowned and did not bother to say anything. She slashed the temple with her demonic blood sword. Boom! A loud sound exploded, and a cloud of dust was spinning in the wind. The temple was crushed into pieces under her sword. That was risky. Enchanting's face was pale, and she could still feel the fear in her heart. Just now, she was deluded by the voice from the temple. She was filled with regret and sadness that led to the development of mental demons. She thought that she was full of sin and wanted to end her own life. However, Enchanting touched her glabella area. The blood moon had disappeared, and the power inside it was used up. There is brother's power in the blood moon mark, Enchanting was in thought. The shadow that appeared from her glabella was the remaining consciousness of the Blood Moon Holy Lord. If it had not appeared, she would have died. Such a pity. Enchanting shook her head as the remaining power in the Blood Moon was used up. If she encountered any danger in the future, the Blood Moon would not be able to help her anymore. Soon, Enchanting cleared her thoughts and sized up the debris of the temple. The power inside the temple was able to delude people nearby. They would definitely be influenced by the stone Buddha. Without a strong mental ability, they would definitely die here miserably. However, Enchanting did not have any mental demons as she did not do anything harmful in her entire life. She was firm on that deep in her heart, and that was the reason why she dared to challenge that her life and her birth was not full of sin. The query she had in her heart stimulated the remaining consciousness that was sealed in the Blood Moon. She then abandoned her confusion and got rid of the mental demons. The temple was destroyed under her sword. The Blood Moon Elder woke up after a while. He stared at Enchanting in confusion as he did not know what happened. How come I feel that? I was hit by someone, the Blood Moon Elder murmured, and his eyes were filled with uncertainty. Enchanting did not explain but walked to the debris of the temple. She picked up a crystal from the broken Buddha. Illusion stone. Enchanting sized up the crystal in her hand. Her face was very serious. The illusion stone was the pupil of a demonic beast that had enchantment skills. It would never grow in a stone Buddha. Enchanting noticed earlier that the Buddha's left eye was weird. The Buddha's left eye was placed with the illusion stone by someone. Once a person's eyes met with the stone, the person would be deluded. The illusion stone was the culprit behind the actions of those who committed suicide earlier. Is it possible that? Enchanting was puzzled. All these are man-made. The 100-level peril hell of Avicenaraka was made by humans. How could that be possible? Furthermore, mystic realms opened by chance and had 100 different levels of danger. No one could predict the opening of the hell of Avicenaraka. Even gods might not be able to do that. Enchanting was slightly irritated and waved towards the Blood Moon Elder nearby. The Blood Moon Elder ran towards her immediately. Enchanting did not hide anything. She showed the illusion stone to the Blood Moon Elder and told him her opinion. Chapter 583, Encounter 1, Holy Lady, it's not possible. The Blood Moon Elder shook his head after hearing Enchanting's prediction. This piece of land had a limited supply of spirit energy. Even a mighty Holy Venerate's ability would be suppressed at the peak of the level of a Yin-Yang True Lord on this land. The Blood Moon Holy Lord's ability had surpassed that of the Ultimate Elder, but the mainland suppressed his ability at the peak of the level of a Yin-Yang True Lord. That was the reason why he was chased by the Ultimate Elder. The 100-level peril hell of Avicenaraka could pose dangers to gods as their abilities would also be suppressed at the level of a Yin-Yang True Lord. How was it possible to play any tricks here? Enchanting pinched her glabella. Maybe she thought too much. The starting of the hell of Avicenaraka would last for half a month. Enchanting and the Blood Moon Elder would need to spend another 14 days in the hell of Avicenaraka. When they were about to leave, 10 young men and ladies arrived at the place. The 10 people were from the Nine Knights dynasty and the formidable Heavens dynasty, including the Falling Sky Valley, the Ouyang family, and the Yuehua sect. Enchanting was a little curious. People of the two dynasties were together. Hey brother, I'm Feng Tsong, disciple of the Falling Sky Valley. May I know what happened here? One of the men from the Falling Sky Valley walked over when he saw Enchanting and the Blood Moon Elder. He frowned when he saw the collapsed temple and a few corpses. 2 of the corpses were Falling Sky Valley disciples. Enchanting held her fists together and said, "My surname is Yi." She then explained the truth to them. So that is how it is. Feng Tsong nodded and did not challenge anything. The 100-level peril mystic realm was extremely odd. We were sent to different locations when we entered the mystic realm and lost contact with our sect. We struggled to survive along the way. Initially, there were 10 people in my team, but now, only 10 of us are left in the entire mystic realm after one day. Feng Song sighed. They would have never entered the place if they knew that it was the 100-level peril mystic realm. However, there was no way out now. Brother Yi, are you interested in joining us? We need to work together in the 100-level peril mystic realm. If not, we may all die here. That is what I'm thinking. Yi Qingtang smiled. Are you interested as well, this lady? Feng Song's eyesight landed on the Blood Moon Elder after getting Yi Qingtang's reply. The Blood Moon Sect Elder, Brother Feng, she is my servant. It's not necessary to ask for her opinion, Yi Qingtang said. Okay. Feng Song nodded but still sized up the Blood Moon Elder. Brother Yes, taste is really fresh. Is it the illusion stone in your hand, young sir? A shy lady walked over slowly, and she looked at Yi Qingtang with her enchanting eyes. Oh Yang Qian, Yi Qingtang scoffed in her heart as she looked at the lady in front of her. Ouyang Qian had tormented in her previous life all the time. However, she was very pretty. The men in the team all surrounded her. Some of the men in the team stared at Yi Qingtang with hostility when they witnessed that Ouyang Qian seemed to be interested in Yi Qingtang. Chapter 584, Encounter 2. Yi Qingtang's male disguise could be considered very handsome. His eyes appeared to be slightly evil. No other man in the team could be compared to Yi Qingtang. Furthermore, Ouyang Qian was so into her that the rest of them all felt jealous. It's an illusion stone, Yi Qingtang said and smiled. Ouyang Qian rolled her eyes and stepped closer towards Yi Qingtang. She smiled charmingly. Young sir, are you willing to sell the illusion stone to me? Ouyang Qian was cultivating a type of fiend skill. Her cultivation would improve hugely with the help of the illusion stone. Yi Qingtang stared at Ouyang Qian and said, What do you want to offer in exchange? Anything you ask. Young sir, Ouyang Qian's face was full of shyness. How about your body? Yi Qingtang's lips curled up slightly, forming into a devilish smile. The men in the team were all shocked after hearing her words. Ouyang Qian also did not expect young sir to be so straightforward. Hee hee. You're really amusing. Young sir. How about we discuss again later? Ouyang Qian's eyes were filled with coldness. Okay. Yi Qingtang nodded her head in agreement. Who do you think you are? How dare you to be so rude to Lady O? Are you tired of living? One of the Yuehua sect disciples went forward and shouted at Yi Qingtang angrily with his finger pointing at her. Before Yi Qingtang could say anything, the Blood Moon Elder pointed back at the disciple and rebuked. Who are you? How does it bother you when holy? Young sir, talk to others. Bastard! What did you say? The Yuehua sect disciple's face immediately clouded. An extremely ugly servant dared to talk to him like that. Feng Song frowned. He stepped forward and stopped the two people from quarreling. Can't you see the situation we are in now? It's not the time for you to settle your business. Leave it till we can escape from this place alive. This is the 100-level peril mystic realm. If we do not work together, we may all die here. The most urgent thing now is to find people from all the sects and reunite with them. I hope you can set aside your personal matters first. Another lady from the Falling Sky Valley said. Humph. The Yuehua sect disciple humphed. He stared at Yi Qingtang in a threatening way and then backed off. Yi Qingtang did not bother to quarrel with the Yuehua sect disciple. She followed Feng Song and the rest to move forward. From what Feng Tsong and the rest described, they also encountered many demon creatures here, and near 10 of them died. The next 2 days were peaceful as they did not encounter any demon creature. However, they witnessed some broken corpses of sect disciples. It had been 3 days since they entered the hell of Avicenaralka. They needed to spend another 13 days to leave this place alive. However, it was easier said than done. A voice was heard at midnight at Yi Qingtang's temporary place. Young Sir Yi. Ouyang Qian suddenly appeared with a smile. She was in a white maxi dress. Her hair was swinging at her waist area. Half of her breasts could be seen through the dress. Any man would not be able to resist such temptations. Yi Qingtang was calm after noticing her appearance. Lady Qian, why do you come over to my place at midnight instead of getting some rest? Chapter 585, Encounter, 3. Ouyang Qian chuckled. Young sir. I'm just here to have a chat with you. Oh. What do you want to chat then? Yi Qingtang pretended to be ignorant and asked. Of course, it's about the illusion stone. Ouyang Qian sat in front of Yi Qingtang slowly. Her lips were tilted slightly. She hugged Yi Qingtang with her hands and murmured beside her ear. Young sir. I remember that you said that you want my body to exchange for that illusion stone, that's right. Yi Qingtang smiled. Then, what are you waiting for? Ouyang Qian placed her hands at Yi Qingtang's back. Her voice was seducing, and it seemed that she was willing to do anything. Lady Qian. Are you sure about that? Yi Qingtang asked meaningfully. Of course. Ouyang Qian smiled, but her eyes were cold. She had intended to kill Yi Qingtang. Before Yi Qingtang could say anything, Ouyang Qian held her body tightly and said, however, I believe there's one sentence that young sir should hear before. It goes. It's an honor to die under a peony flower. Coldness swiped through Ouyang Qian's eyes. A ball of black mist appeared in her hands suddenly, and it seemed to be able to crush Yi Qingtang's organs. What do you want? Yi Qingtang was shocked. Young sir, you can only blame yourself for your death. If you gave me the illusion stone willingly, you can at least keep your life. How dare you to dream to have sex with me? It's a pity that your handsome appearance will be gone as well. Ouyang Qian scorned. Swoosh. The moment when Ouyang Qian finished her words, a flare lit up on Yi Qingtang's body. There was a talisman on her back. As the talisman was burning, Ouyang Qian was hit by the intense force from the talisman and vomited blood. Talisman array formation, you. Ouyang Qian's face was pale, and she stared at Yi Qingtang unbelievably. The shock on Yi Qingtang's face was gone, and it was replaced by a cold smile. I know that you want to ask why was I prepared. That's because I know you well. You know me. Ouyang Qian could not believe what she just heard. Dying under a peony flower. I admit that the sentence is true, but you are no peony flower. Yi Qingtang smiled. Based on what Yi Qingtang knew about Ouyang Qian, she would definitely make a move within these few days. That was the reason why Yi Qingtang took out a protection talisman from her space ring and kept it close with her. What do you want? Ouyang Qian gritted her teeth. She did not expect that Yi Qingtang would be prepared earlier with a talisman array formation. And she fell into the trap. I want your body. Yi Qingtang smiled. Oh, that is what you want. Ouyang Qian curled her lips. Come in. Yi Qingtang did not reply Ouyang Qian but shouted towards outside. The Blood Moon Elder walked in immediately. He was puzzled and asked, Holy Lady, what is the great gift that you said, Holy Lady? Ouyang Qian was stunned when she heard the Blood Moon Elder's words. She stared at Yi Qingtang unbelievably. You are a woman. However, Enchanting did not bother to explain. She made an evil smile as she looked at the Blood Moon Elder. She is the gift. Chapter 586, Possession, 1, The Blood Moon Elder was slightly dazed. After returning to his senses, he hurriedly waved his hands and said, "Holy Lady. I don't like women." "You don't like women?" Enchanting was stunned, and she could not help but size up the Blood Moon Elder with a subtle expression. No, no, no. The Blood Moon Elder felt his scalp tingle from Enchanting's stare and frantically shook his head. "That's not what I mean. I just don't lust after women." Enchanting looked at the Blood Moon Elder speechlessly and pinched her glabella. Was he mistaken about something? As the Blood Moon Elder looked at the enchantingly beautiful Ouyang Qian, he was filled with grief and indignation. Before entering the mystic realm, the Holy Lady told him that she would bestow him a big present. Initially, the Blood Moon Elder was filled with expectation for this so-called big present and assumed that it would be an elixir that she refined. However, never would he expect that the supposed big present was actually a woman. What would he need a woman for? What he needed were elixirs. Elixirs. He is a man. After she heard the conversation between Enchanting and the Blood Moon Elder, Ouyang Qian's expression changed drastically. She stared at the Blood Moon Elder in disbelief with horror in her eyes before looking at Enchanting. You actually want to let such a hideous-looking man engage in that illicit act, with me? Pfft. The Blood Moon Elder shot a look at Ouyang Qian. Shameless. To think that he was once so honorable as an elder of the Blood Moon sect 1,000 years ago. How would he want such a woman like Ouyang Qian? Before waiting for Enchanting to say anything, the Blood Moon Elder immediately inched nearer to hear and smiled. "Holy Lady, how about you exchange this woman with elixirs? I personally like elixirs more." "Look," however, Enchanting shook her head, looked at the Blood Moon Elder, and spoke in a grave tone with sincerity. "The effect of this woman is much better than elixirs." Seeing that his Holy Lady simply did not give him any room for negotiation, the Blood Moon Elder had a sullen expression as he said, "Holy Lady, you may not know, but my waist cannot make it." Enchanting stared blankly at the Blue Moon Elder. Enchanting was actually speechless for a moment. This Blood Moon Elder was overthinking too much. Furthermore, how much did he despise Ouyang Qian exactly? "You should change a body already," Enchanting said helplessly while looking at the Blood Moon Elder. What? The Blood Moon Elder was dumbstruck and in utter disbelief. Enchanting's intention was actually for him to possess this woman's body. Almost right when he realized that, the Blood Moon Elder turned around and wanted to leave without hesitation. Yet, how would he have the chance to leave? Enchanting raised a brow and grabbed the Blood Moon Elder's left shoulder directly, pulling him away. "You don't like it?" Enchanting looked at the Blood Moon Elder with a raised brow. At that moment, shock filled the Blood Moon Elder's face while misery flooded his eyes. "Holy Lady, I'm a man. 1,000 years ago, he overran the world and could go anywhere he pleased. Many supreme-grade women adored him. Yet, he was to be a woman now. If others knew about this, wouldn't they laugh their heads off? He simply could not do it. You've been a man for 1,000 years. What's so bad about being a woman occasionally?" Enchanting spoke meaningfully with a sincere expression. At that very instant, Ouyang Qian's face was already ash-white. Chapter 587, Possession, 2. She finally understood what Enchanting meant by needing her body. She actually wanted to let someone possess her body. Ouyang Qian clenched her teeth. She originally wanted to get out of this situation, but she did not have any strength left in her body. Holy Lady, I feel that the Blood Moon Elder originally wanted to use emotions and reason to persuade Enchanting, but he was cut short by Enchanting halfway. This girl has a superb martial talent and cultivates demonic techniques. Her current skills have already entered the peak of the first heaven of martial chi level 3, and she will break through to the second heaven and even the third heaven of martial chi level 3 very quickly. If you're willing to possess her, everything she has would become yours. After hearing that, the Blood Moon Elder was suddenly quiet. What Enchanting said indeed attracted him. The peak of the first heaven of martial chi level 3 in addition to superb martial talent. With the support of Enchanting's elixirs, perhaps he would be able to return to his peak once again. Surpassing his peak might not be impossible. But, the Blood Moon Elder was still a little bothered. After all, he was to suddenly become a woman without any mental preparation, no buts. Enchanting waved a hand and cut his sentence short. We are in the 100-level peril hell of Avicenaraka right now. Even I barely have the ability to protect myself. Have you ever thought of whether you can leave this place alive based on your skills? The Blood Moon Elder's expression changed. If Enchanting had not knocked him unconscious at that temple previously, his ending would definitely be extremely tragic as well. Ah. Enchanting shook her head at the Blood Moon Elder and sighed. Forget it. I see that you do not wish to do this as well, so I will not force you anymore. You can't fancy the skills of a cultivator at the peak of the first heaven of martial chi level 3 with peerless demonic techniques anyways. I'm afraid that you don't even care when you die in the mystic realm. Since that's the case, why would I convince you? Whatever. Forget it. You can leave. After saying that, Enchanting saw that the Blood Moon Elder was still standing at the same spot and said rather impatiently, "Leave quickly." The Blood Moon Elder's heart was shaken. Almost in the next second, his face was full of smiles. Holy Lady. I think that what you said is logical, and of course, I will listen to your arrangements. So be it if it was a woman. It was still better than dying in this hell of Avicenaraka. The Blood Moon Elder did not wish to die in this mystic realm. Even if his spirit would not be destroyed when he died, if he died in this mystic realm which started at irregular timings, there would probably be no hope of returning to his previous position in this lifetime. This is right, Enchanting said and patted the Blood Moon Elder's left shoulder. I'm not letting you be a female forever. If there is a better male body next time, wouldn't it be great if you possessed it again then? The Blood Moon Elder nodded in full agreement. He was not going to be a woman for his entire lifetime, and what he was doing now was only a temporary expedient. A great man knew when to yield and when to not. Seeing that the Blood Moon Elder was finally enlightened, she did not say anything else and merely lifted her chin at Ouyang Qian. Immediately understanding her gesture, the Blood Moon Elder walked towards Ouyang Qian with a sinister smile. You all. Currently, Ouyang Qian had already understood what the two people meant and paled in fear. I am the young miss of 9 Knights Dynasty's Ouyang clan. If you all dare to do anything, my Ouyang clan will definitely assassinate you all by wrathful means. Chapter 588, Possession, 3:0. The Blood Moon Elder laughed coldly. What you're saying doesn't seem to be false. However, from now on, I am the young, whatever it's called, of the 9 Knights Dynasty's Ouyang clan and will completely replace you. Ouyang Qian was appalled as she retreated backward in a struggle. Nonetheless, her entire body was weak, and there was no way of resisting. However, the Blood Moon Elder would not let Ouyang Qian escape either. In just 15 minutes, the Blood Moon Elder's body collapsed on the ground while Ouyang Qian rose slowly. The horror on that stunning face had completely disappeared, and what replaced it was an evil smile. Holy Lady, The Ouyang Qian, who stood up, smiled at Yi Qingtang immediately. Very good. Yi Qingtang was extremely satisfied as she stared at the unrivaled beauty that was the Blood Moon Elder. This appearance was much more pleasing to the eye than Zhou Chu's face. The Blood Moon Elder waved his right arm immediately, and black smoke floated in his palms, turning Zhou Chu's body to dust. It's not bad. This body is indeed full of power, the Blood Moon Elder flashed his teeth. Although he was initially resistant, he was relieved when he thought that he could still possess an even stronger male body in the future. Miss Ouyang. As the Blood Moon Elder was familiarizing with his new body, a male in white suddenly barged in. This man in white was the Yuehua sect disciple from that day who adored Ouyang Qian and even hated Yi Qingtang to the core because of that. When the Yuehua sect disciple saw a disheveled Ouyang Qian in a rather messy situation, his face changed immediately, and he looked at Yi Qingtang insidiously. What are you doing here? Ouyang Qian said coldly and stared at the Yuehua sect disciple. Miss Ouyang, I heard some strange noises here just now. I seem to have heard your voice, and I was worried, so I came over to take a look. As the Yuehua sect disciple looked at Ouyang Qian, his manner softened immediately while his tone became gentler as well. Yi Qingtang stood aside, calm and unruffled. A seeming laugh hung on her lips as she looked at that Yuehua sect disciple. She remembered that this Yuehua sect disciple seemed to be interested in Ouyang Qian. Miss Ouyang, you don't have to worry about anything with me here. If this person dares to bully you, I will definitely tear him into pieces. The Yuehua sect disciple declared coldly as he looked at Ouyang Qian. Ouyang Qian's mouth twitched unconsciously. Glaring at the Yuehua sect disciple with a frown, she shouted. Get lost. The Yuehua sect disciple was shocked and thought he heard wrong. Didn't you hear that? As a sect disciple, you don't even have the slightest ability to make discerning judgments, and you even dared to interrupt Miss Ouyang and me? Yi Qingtang suddenly took a step forward and snickered coldly. You. The Yuehua sect disciple's expression changed and darkened. You what you? Quickly get lost. Ouyang Qian came forward immediately and kicked the Yuehua sect disciple out. Outside the tent, the Yuehua sect disciple was sorrowful as he looked at the cold Ouyang Qian. Qian, you promised me before that if I devote myself wholly to you. A shudder ran through the Blood Moon Elder's body immediately. To hell with devoting myself wholly to you. Chapter 589, Femme Fatale, 1, Forget It. The Blood Moon Elder turned around and returned to the tent. After being chided by someone he adored, the Yuehua sect disciple paled instantly. All his previous anger was gone as he left dejectedly without knowing exactly what happened. As Yi Qingtang watched the Yuehua sect disciple leave, she subsequently turned around and looked at the Blood Moon Elder with a smile. The feeling of being doted on by a man should be pretty good, isn't it? Helplessness filled the Blood Moon Elder. Yi Qingtang walked towards the Blood Moon Elder. She did not joke around anymore and instead informed the Blood Moon Elder everything about Ouyang Qian. The Ouyang family clan of Nine Knights Dynasty was the #1 family clan in Nine Knights Dynasty, and it was not weaker than the super sections. The Ouyang clan had very strong powers and heritage, and it could even compete with the Falling Sky Valley of the Nine Knights Dynasty. Currently, the Blood Moon Elder had possessed Ouyang Qian's body, and this was equivalent to replacing Ouyang Qian. Eventually, he had to return to the Ouyang Qian in the future. Thus, he had to know everything about the Ouyang clan, otherwise, there was a high possibility that he would be exposed. As for Ouyang Qian's background, Yi Qingtang already knew everything clearly from when she interacted with her in her previous life. Ouyang Qian was the daughter that family master Ouyang doted on and spoiled the most. Now that the Blood Moon Elder replaced Ouyang Qian, it would be of great help to Yi Qingtang in the future. After ensuring that the Blood Moon Elder completely remembered everything she said, she finally let him leave. Before he left, Yi Qingtang specially reminded the Blood Moon Elder to return to Ouyang Qian's residence to prevent further suspicion. I hope that we can leave the Hell of Avicenaraka alive. After the Blood Moon Elder left, Yi Qingtang sighed softly. The Hell of Avicenaraka was too dangerous, and one could die in it if just a tad careless. If that was really the case, whatever she did would all be pointless. Yi Qingtang did not sleep a wink that night. Sitting cross-legged on the ground, she entered a state of meditation and consolidated her cultivation skills. Currently, Yi Qingtang's martial cultivation level had already reached the peak of the third heaven of martial qi level 2 and was only a half step away from entering martial qi level 3. Although the Hell of Avicenaraka was extremely dangerous, it was very beneficial to raising the skills of cultivators. From ancient times to now, the more dangerous a place was, the better it was at stimulating the potential of cultivators. Naturally, the speed of cultivation here could not be compared to that in the external world. Moreover, danger coexisted with crises. The more dangerous a place was, the more destinies there would be. There were definitely many destinies in the Hell of Avicenaraka. However, it was unknown who could gain it or even leave this place alive after gaining it. The night was silent. At twilight, the first faint streaks of dawn appeared in the sky. As day broke, a burst of scoldings could be heard outside the tents. Yi Qingtang slowly opened her eyes, rose, and walked out in great strides. Feng Song and the rest were already there. After seeing Yi Qingtang, that Yuehua sect disciple shouted furiously and immediately drew out a yellow-grade weapon from his waist. Lin Song, why are you doing this? Feng Song asked with a frown when he saw the Yuehua sect disciple's actions. This bastard actually snatched my women. I must kill him today, the Yuehua sect disciple, Lin Song, said coldly as he glared at Yi Qingtang furiously. He thought about it for a long time last night and completely could not accept Ouyang Qian's abrupt change which happened after Yi Qingtang's appearance. As such, he pushed all of the blame onto Yi Qingtang. Chapter 590, Femme Fatale, 2, Yi Qingtang stared at Lin Song and scoffed coldly. Fellow, you don't have the qualifications to compete with me. What did you say? A fierce glint flickered in Lin Song's eyes, and it seemed as though he would behead Yi Qingtang any time. I said that it's you who don't have any abilities. How could Miss Ouyang fancy such trash like you? Yi Qingtang said indifferently. Lin Song's heart boiled with fury, and he clenched his teeth. Bullshit. You have used that illusion stone to bewitch Miss Ouyang. You're just a martial qi level 2 piece of trash. Today, I want you to die an ignominious death. Oh. You can come and try. The corners of Yi Qingtang's lips tugged up slightly and formed into a sinister smile. Lin Song was even more enraged after seeing Yi Qingtang's attitude. He was a dignified Yuehua sect disciple and was at martial qi level 3, yet a martial qi level 2 piece of trash dared to be so arrogant to him. However, before Lin Song could make a move, a beautiful lady in a white dress slowly arrived. A few males from the Ouyang family clan followed behind the girl. Qian. Lin Song's expression changed, and he immediately called Ouyang Qian after seeing her. After hearing this loving call, the Blood Moon Elder who possessed Ouyang Qian's body felt feelings of disgust rile up within him. He frowned and said coldly, "Who allowed you to call me that way? Qian, are you really under the influence of this bastard's illusion stone?" Lin Song gritted his teeth in indignation. A few days ago, you clearly told me that you have some feelings for me too. But why, yesterday, I already said that you don't have the abilities, but you don't believe me. With a smile, Enchanting walked to the Blood Moon Elder and held on to the Blood Moon Elder's waist with a casual stance. The Blood Moon Elder froze immediately. Without giving Lin Song any time to react, Enchanting caressed Ouyang Qian's delicate face and said gently with a smile, "Qian, do you think that I'm much more powerful than that piece of trash, Lin Song?" The Blood Moon Elder shuddered. Although he knew that his holy lady was a female, Enchanting's disguise skills were really good. No matter how he looked, he could only see a delicately handsome young man. If it were other girls, their hearts would have long been melted should they be treated like this by such a beautiful boy. However, all he wanted now was to die. Obviously, Lin Song could not guess Ouyang Qian's feeling right now and could only watch the intimate action between Enchanting and Ouyang Qian. Grief and indignation filled him, but he could only contain the fury in his heart and look at Ouyang Qian pressingly. "Qian, this cannot be true." "Humph." Ouyang Qian scoffed coldly. "Im Ouyang clan's young miss. How would I take a liking to a piece of trash like you? The person I like is naturally this handsome young sir in front of me." The Blood Moon Elder was aggrieved. What sin had he committed exactly? At that instant, the males from Ouyang clan exchanged a look and were slightly surprised. It can't be that young miss is really interested in that pretty boy, can it? This does not seem to be consistent with young miss' personality, no. You must have been deceived by his illusion stone. Lin Song immediately looked at Enchanting. "I want you to die." Then, Lin Song's body moved instantly and charged towards Enchanting rapidly. Noticing the situation, Ouyang Qian immediately waved at the Ouyang clan people. "Beat him to death." Chapter 591, Femme Fatale, 3. After they heard their young miss, the expressions of the Ouyang clan men were even stranger. Young Miss Ouyang Qian told them that she fancied that pretty boy's illusion stone, however, that pretty boy did not know what was good for him. That's strange. Young Miss clearly said that she would take that pretty boy's life. Why is it that so suddenly? Could it be that young Miss really fell for that pretty boy? The men from the Ouyang clan were in thought. Why are you all still in a daze? Ouyang Qian shouted at them loudly. One of them immediately cupped his fists at Ouyang Qian and replied, "Yes." Afterward, all of them immediately stopped Lin Kong. The scene was a mess in the subsequent hour. Ultimately, Lin Song was beaten up to a pulp by the combined forces of the Ouyang clan men and was flung out. All of the Ouyang clan people were already at martial chi level 3, and although Lin Song was not weak, it was difficult to fight against 4 people by himself, and it was already pretty good that he did not die. Although Feng Song wanted to dissuade them, the Ouyang clan was too powerful, and it was inconvenient for him to cut in. Lin Song was heavily injured, and this small team could only abandon him. After making arrangements for a while, the team continued on their journey. The pressing matter at the moment was to find a sect team. Otherwise, it would be hard to last until the end of the Hell of Avicenaraka just by themselves. This departure lasted another 2 days. 2 days later, everyone arrived at a dessert. "Look!" Feng Song pointed forward with an astonished expression. After hearing him, everyone looked in the direction that Feng Song pointed at. There was a majestic palace miles away which radiated a faint golden ray. "That palace is..." Everyone exchanged a look but could not form a conclusion. "Let's take a look," the Blood Moon Elder said eventually. A magnificent palace appeared in the desert. If it was not a place with a huge destiny, then it would be a land of death. There were as many destinies as dangers. Given the Blood Moon Elder's personality, he would naturally want to find out what it was. "Holy Darling Yi, what do you think?" the Blood Moon Elder looked at Enchanting with a feigned gentleness and eyes full of gentle tenderness. "Can you not call me that?" When Enchanting saw Ouyang Qian's gentle eyes, a chill ran down her spine, and disgust rose within her. The Blood Moon Sect Elder. At that instant, the Blood Moon Elder broke down a little internally. It was clearly Holy Lady who warned him repeatedly that night to coordinate with her. He had already thrown his own face away, yet why did Holy Lady despise him now? Was the gentleness that he mastered after a Herculean effort disregarded by his Holy Lady just like that? "Darling Yi," the Blood Moon Elder leaned against Enchanting with a face full of smiles. "If you call me this again, I may not be able to hold myself back from beating you to death." Enchanting glared at the flirty Blood Moon Elder with a serious expression. Although Ouyang Qian's external appearance was extremely beautiful, the spirit inside was an old man. Enchanting really could not bear an old man calling her darling Yi so bashfully. "What did you say?" A certain Ouyang male stepped forward immediately and looked at Enchanting. "You should be extremely honored that my young miss called you that." Enchanting stared blankly at the male. "If this Ouyang male likes this honor, he can receive it then. What has this got to do with you?" "Get lost!" the Blood Moon Elder shouted coldly. Chapter 592, The Palace. 1. The Ouyang clan men were stunned after hearing their young miss words. "Young miss, you really like..." Before the man could finish his words, the Blood Moon Elder gave him a stare. He had to keep his mouth shut. What's the point of saying all the nonsense when young miss does not care? You are only looking for trouble. Another man of the Ouyang clan smiled and sighed after the first man returned to the crowd. "I just feel that based on young miss nature, how would she give her true heart to someone so easily? Maybe she fell for the guy. To be honest, he has quite a good appearance." People of the Ouyang clan all shook their head but did not seem to suspect anything. Feng Tsong and the rest walked forward. He stared at Enchanting and said, "Brother Yi, Lady Ouyang, do you think we should take a look at the mysterious palace?" A majestic palace suddenly appeared out of nowhere in the desert. There were only two possible outcomes: either there were destinies inside, or it might be the horrifying hell. Feng Tsong did not dare to make the decision as it would affect everyone's safety. Listen to him. The Blood Moon Elder looked at Enchanting in a genuine way. Enchanting ignored the loving eyes of the Blood Moon Elder. She frowned and immersed herself in her thoughts. After a short while, Enchanting said, "It is more dangerous for us to wander around in the hell of Avicenaraka. The palace can be seen from anywhere within a few kilometers. I guess that there are others from the Nine Knights dynasty and the formidable Heavens dynasty who will go over to the palace since it is so obvious." "That's what I think as well." The Blood Moon Elder nodded. The Blood Moon Elder's identity now was the young miss of the Ouyang clan. People of the Ouyang clan could only comply since their young miss agreed. Eventually, Feng Tsong led the rest towards the mysterious palace. The sandstorm in the desert was huge. Sand was curled up by the typhoon and created a sandstorm. It was extremely difficult to walk under such a storm. One would be curled up into the storm and tore into pieces if he was incautious. It took them a couple of hours to walk just a few kilometers. Under the palace. Feng Tsong was amazed by the palace in front of him. The palace was very magnificent. Even the super sex infrastructure could not be compared with the palace. The ancient style did not seem to be a product of this century. Ha 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 ha. Suddenly, a burst of crazy laughter came out of the palace. A huge head flew out of the palace the moment the laughter was heard. The head landed in front of Enchanting and the Blood Moon Elder. Everyone's face changed when they saw the head. Even Enchanting's eyes flickered. The head belonged to an elder. From the wound, it seemed to be chopped off by a sharp weapon. However, the elder's face had a strange smile. "He is," one of the super sect disciples shouted after seeing the head clearly. "The great elder of the Yuehua sect." "What?" Feng Tsong and a few others were totally shocked after hearing that. The great elder's martial ability was just below the Yuehua sect master, yet his head was chopped off by someone at this place. Don't kill me. Why did you do this?" Chapter 593, The Palace, 2. Before Yi Qingtang could figure out what was going on, a horrifying voice came out from the mysterious palace. A large amount of blood spurted out of the palace's ground at the same time when the scream was heard. The blood-red color filled everyone's eyes. Whiz! A blood-colored shadow flew out of the palace suddenly. Before Yi Qingtang and the rest could realize what just happened, the shadow landed in front of them. "Help! Help! Help me!" a weak and desperate voice was heard. The blood-colored shadow that landed in front of them was half of the body of a woman. The woman was pretty, but her black hair was dyed red in the blood. The woman only had the top half of her body. Her face was as pale as a sheet of paper. She dragged her body towards Yi Qingtang and the rest in despair with her hands. As the woman moved inch by inch, sharp blood scars were left on the ground from her broken body. The woman lay flat on the ground after moving a few meters. She died out of breath, and the blood dyed the entire ground under her body red. Feng Tsong and the rest of the 10 people were shocked. Their faces were pale as they stared at the woman with only half of her body. They had witnessed such a horrifying scene before they even entered the palace. It was totally impossible that the palace offered destinies. It must be a hell. "Young miss. I think we should leave this place now." One of the Ouyang clan men's had an extremely unpleasant expression. As cultivators, they were not afraid of death in a real fight, but they were scared of death from unknown causes. Feng Tsong and a few others also had the feeling to escape. They did not want to remain at this place and definitely did not want to enter the palace. The Blood Moon Elder looked at Yi Qingtang immediately. He did not want to stay at this place anymore, but he needed to wait for Yi Qingtang's command. "Leave." Yi Qingtang did not hesitate and was about to turn and leave. Even the great elder of Yuehua sect died here. No one knew what was waiting for them inside the palace. Once they entered, they would most likely die. However, when everyone was just about to retreat, a thunder-like roar arose in front of them and spread out to their surroundings. A large amount of sand suddenly condensed from the endless desert and became a demonic monster in front of everyone. The demonic monster was formed by sand and was a few hundred meters tall. It was like an evil demon in the desert. Its body covered the sky and the sun, and it was surrounded by a sinister aura. A huge storm was formed from its roar. Its eyes seemed to be able to enchant humans. One stare would result in falling into hell with no return. "What the hell?" One of the sect disciples cursed after seeing the monster. How could they move around with such a monster blocking their way? This is a demonic monster formed from resentment. The Blood Moon Elder frowned and was deep in thought as he looked towards the demonic monster. The so-called resentment was present in all living creatures. When they were alive, they were buried with huge resentment, and after their death, that resentment might morph into evil spirits. Now, Yi Qingtang had to walk towards the palace as there was no way to retreat. Chapter 594, The Palace, 3. Though the palace was full of danger, there was at least hope that they could survive. If they did not enter the palace and fought against the demonic monster born from resentment, there was no chance that they would survive. Yi Qingtang estimated that the demonic monster was at least at the 3rd heaven of martial qi level 3. Unless the big figures of the super sects were the ones who took action, others who wanted to fight against it would face the consequence of death. Are you sure that we are going to enter the palace? A sect disciple was still frightened by the scene he saw just now. He was not willing to step into the palace at all. If you're not willing to go in, feel free to stay outside and fight the demonic monster. Enchanting scanned through the person coldly. The sect disciple gritted his teeth but sighed eventually. Enchanting's words were very straightforward, but they were true. That sect disciple was not stupid. It was obvious that they would lose even if all of them combined their forces to fight the demonic beast. Based on their current situation, there was no other choice besides entering the mysterious palace that was full of danger. Enchanting dashed into the palace first. Others did not hesitate and followed her path to enter the unknown palace. Enchanting stopped for a second after entering the palace. She turned over and looked towards the desert. The huge demonic monster was just staring at them from afar. It did not have the intention to enter the palace. However, Enchanting felt more disturbed. Who are you? A roar came from the palace suddenly. Enchanting and the Blood Moon Elder looked towards the direction where the sound came from. There were around 60 to 70 people standing in the hall of the palace. Besides people from the normal sects, there were powerful people from Yunshao sect, Lingyun sect, and other super sections. We are sect disciples. Enchanting replied calmly. The starting of the 100-level peril hell of Avicenaraka was beyond everyone's expectations. The conflicts between the two dynasties were set aside for now. Leaving the hell of Avicenaraka alive was the key focus for everyone. Any conflicts and resentment could only be present if they were alive. If they were a cluster of bones, nothing would be left. Everyone here understood that. People in the hall sized up Enchanting and the team but did not say anything. Im Feng, disciple of the Falling Sky Valley. May I know what happened here? Feng stepped forward and asked one super sect disciple. We're not sure as well. People from different sects were all separated when we entered the mystic realm. We met these people along the way, and we entered the palace when we were walking in the desert to seek for possible treasures. However, the moment we entered, the Yuehua sect master killed his own great elder and a few disciples. The young man was very anxious and disturbed. Yuehua sect master. Everyone was shocked when they heard that. They thought that there was a powerful creature in the palace from the bloody scene they witnessed outside. However, the Yuehua sect master was the one who murdered others. The ability of a super sect master too powerful to imagine. If people like him started attacking and killing others, the consequences would be too dreadful to think of. Chapter 595, Save People, 1. Where is the Yuehua sect master now? Enchanting felt that something was odd. The two people that died outside the palace were the Yuehua sect elder and disciple. Why would the Yuehua sect master murder them? They are in the second palace. The young man pointed forward and explained. The second palace was separated by a door. The Yuehua sect master entered the mysterious palace first as he thought that there were destinies inside. After checking through the place and realizing that there was no treasure inside, he then led his sect disciples into the second palace. However, just when they entered, the Yuehua sect master suddenly chopped off the great elder's head and the top half of the body of one of the female disciples. The rest were shocked after seeing this. They totally did not understand why the Yuehua sect master would suddenly be murderous. They had to close the door to the second palace to prevent him from killing others outside. Open the door. Let us out, bastard. Open the door now. Screams came out of the second palace. People outside could even hear the banging sound on the silver door as those inside were trying to return to the first palace. Enchanting was slightly astonished. Apparently, besides the Yuehua sect master who was trapped inside the second palace, there were others who did not escape on time. Humph. One of the Yunshao sect elders scorned. We will get into trouble as well if we open the door. How ridiculous it is. Everyone chose to remain silent though the screams and the banging sounds that were coming out constantly. No one dared to help them. Their abilities could not be compared with the Yuehua sect masters. If they opened the door, they would suffer as well. Enchanting thought for a while and then walked forward directly. It seemed that she wanted to open the door. Everyone was stunned after seeing this. The Yunshao sect elder took a leap and landed in front of Enchanting. He shouted angrily. What do you want? Enchanting took a glimpse at the Yunshao sect elder and said coldly, of course, I'm trying to save people. Save people. If you want to die, I will not stop you. However, I will not let you open the door. The Yuehua sect master is crazy now. If he comes out, we will all die as a result of your action. The Yunshao sect elder sneered. Guys, there was a demonic monster guarding the palace outside. No one can leave this place alive. Though the door here is made of cold iron, based on the Yuehua sect master's ability, you think the door can trap him? Enchanting did not bother to reply the Yunshao sect elder. She looked at the rest in the palace and explained. Once the Yuehua sect master kills everyone inside the second palace, he will definitely break through the door. If I open the door now and save one person, we will have another ally. If we fail to save one person, we lose one ally. There are 10 of us here, so why are we still afraid of the Yuehua sect master alone? However, if he kills everyone inside, we will be the ones who lose. Enchanting continued to explain as she saw the silence in the palace. Enchanting's words made everyone think deeply. They had seen too many friends die in front of their eyes since they entered the hell of Avicenaraka. They were only a step away from death in every danger they encountered. Even now, no one dared to promise that they could leave this place alone. Chapter 596, Save People, 2, That's right. The Ouyang clan of the Nine Knights dynasty agrees to open the door and save people. The Blood Moon Elder broke the silence. The others of the Ouyang clan also showed their stand. Though their young miss seemed to be obsessed with the pretty boy's words did make sense. The silver door that was made of black iron would not stop a sect master of a super sect. If they could save one person, there would be one more person fighting alongside them. Soon, some sect disciples looked towards the outside of the palace. A huge monster appeared in everyone's vision a few kilometers away in the desert. We agree to open the door, a few sect disciples said. Even the Yunshao sect disciples seemed to change their mind. Who dares? The Yunshao sect elder shouted in rage. However, Enchanting did not even look at the Yunshao sect elder. She opened the door instantly without leaving any chance for the elder to talk. The intense smell of blood came out of the palace the moment the door was opened. At that moment, people outside then saw the scene clearly. There were bloodstains everywhere in the second palace, and there were broken limbs scattered on the ground. The scene was too horrible to look at. Around 10 men and women were lying beside the door. Their faces were filled with despair. Come out now! Enchanting shouted towards the people who were still in shock. The 10 of them then regained their consciousness and looked towards the direction of the voice. When they saw that the silver door was opened, they immediately got up and flew outside. Thank you so much, brother. One of the Yuehua sect disciples looked at Enchanting with gratitude. His cupped fists were trembling slightly. Tsk tisk, a sinister laugh was heard before Enchanting could say anything. An elder in a red robe was seen in the second palace. He was holding a sword, and his whole body was stained with blood. His eyes were filled with craziness, and a sinister laugh came out of his mouth. Enchanting saw the elder during the fight between Xianling's sect and Yunshao's sect. He was the Yuehua sect master. Close the door. Enchanting closed the silver door immediately at the same time. What happened exactly? You followed the Yuehua sect master into the second palace together. How come he went crazy inside? A sect warden asked immediately as the 10 people escaped from the second palace. Sect master, he appeared to be possessed by the demon the moment he entered the second palace. We also don't know what happened. A Yuehua sect disciple recalled, but his face was still full of horror. Boom! A loud sound was heard at the next second. The closed silver door was under attack by the Yuehua sect master. Based on the Yuehua sect master's ability, the silver door would not be enough to trap him. Boom! Boom! The silver door exploded under a sword breath. The elder, who looked like a demon from hell, walked towards the crowd. He held his sword, and the martial aura he emanated was very intense. Only death can set us free. Helping you. The Yuehua sect master's face was filled with madness. He walked towards the Blood Moon Elder as he finished his words. The Blood Moon Elder's face changed as he saw the Yuehua sect master walking towards him. Thank you so much, but we don't even know each other. As a young lady, I do not deserve your help. How about helping the rest first? Die. The Yuehua sect master laughed loudly and slashed the giant sword in his hand. Rotten asshole. Furious, the Blood Moon Elder raised his right arm and turned into a ball of demonic air, dodging the Yuehua sect master's attack. Don't be afraid. Enchanting shouted. No matter how powerful the Yuehua sect master is, there is only one of him, but there are over 10 of us. What should we fear? Everyone was shaken by the strangeness of this hall earlier on. Especially after seeing that the Yuehua sect master went berserk, everyone was even more fearful of the unknown, and their thoughts were a little messy at the moment. After hearing Enchanting's words, everyone took out their own weapons. They would die if they did not fight, but there was still a possibility of survival if they fought. This brother is right. He only has himself, but we have over 10 people. If we fought with our lives, he is not our opponent. After someone shouted that, everyone charged towards the Yuehua sect master in succession. Previously, they fought independently and lacked unity and thus were naturally not the Yuehua sect master's opponent. However, they had to come together as one now. Most of the people present were inner sect disciples of super sects, and their skills were at martial chi level 3. There were even some elders and wardens as well. With combined forces, even a super sect master would not be able to ward off their attacks easily. For a moment, the first palace was extremely chaotic. Sword auras slashed across everywhere, and Dharma treasures were used. In less than 15 minutes, the Yuehua sect master was finally subdued by the combined attack. The Yuehua sect master had a frenetic expression at that instant. You all will die. All of you will die here. Even with God's protection, all of you will still die. If you speak any more crap, I'll sew your lips together. The Blood Moon Elder walked forward and slapped the Yuehua sect master. Miss Ouyang. Sect master is already subdued. You, a Yuehua sect disciple, seemed to be a little uncomfortable after seeing the Blood Moon Elder slapping the Yuehua sect master loudly. The Blood Moon Elder looked at the person who spoke and scoffed coldly. How about I lock you and your sect master in the second palace for you two to interact? After hearing that, the Yuehua sect disciple felt a shudder run through his spine and did not dare to utter a word more. After the Yuehua sect master was subdued, everyone decided to proceed further into the palace. The demonic creature outside the palace never left. Even if everyone wanted to retreat from the palace, it was impossible. There was no other choice other than proceeding forward. Very quickly, everyone passed through the huge iron door and arrived at the second palace. This mysterious palace was extremely gigantic. Entering the palace, they felt like a grain of sand falling into an ocean. As Enchanting walked into the second palace, she inspected the place clearly without letting off a single detail. The Yuehua sect master went berserk after entering the second palace. Perhaps what caused the Yuehua sect master to go berserk rested in here. Holy Lady, there is something strange about the smell of this place. The Blood Moon Elder walked to Enchanting and said softly. Enchanting nodded slightly. She felt that it was rather odd as well. This smell is... Enchanting's brows were slightly furrowed. Black heaven water. There was an extremely faint scent in the second palace which would not be easily sensed if not attentive. This sweet scent was extremely similar to that of the black heaven water. Enchanting was in deep thought. In her previous life, apart from knowing that Ning Luo obtained the black heaven water in this mystic realm, she once saw it in the second mainland. Thus, she always remembered its smell. However, the smell here seemed to be mixed with some other things. Ha. Ha. Ha ha ha. Before Enchanting could think it through, a crazy laugh suddenly erupted from the crowd. Chapter 598, Illusion 1. As if this laugh was infectious, in just a while, the numerous disciples who escaped from the second palace stood together and drew out their weapons with a crazed expression, similar to the Yuehua sect master previously. Puff! Puff! Without saying anything, those people slaughtered many instantly. Those who were killed were not on their guard and were thus slain in one strike. In just a moment, blood spouted everywhere, and the intense smell of blood filled the air. Everyone was alarmed to see the blinding patches of blood and hurriedly pulled a distance away from those 10 or so people. What happened to them? Someone questioned in shock. It's the same as the Yuehua sect master just now. Could it be that these people also went berserk? Everyone looked at those 10 over people, astonished. Everyone, hold your nose. Don't breathe in the scent here. Enchanting reminded everyone immediately. Although this scent was similar to black heaven waters, it was mixed with something different. Enchanting thought that everyone's berserk state was definitely related to the scent in this second palace, and it was highly possible that they lost their minds because of this scent. Moreover, after observing their condition, it seemed that the stronger one's skills were, the faster the scent would take effect. For example, that Yuehua sect master went crazy instantly while those people trapped with him were not as skilled as the Yuehua sect master and thus flared up later. Scumbag! The Yunshao sect elder hollered angrily and looked at Enchanting. I already said not to open the giant steel door just now. If you had not let them out, without waiting for him to finish his sentence, Enchanting snickered coldly. If I did not let them out and have an additional 10 or so martial chi level 3 people, do you think we could have subdued the Yuehua sect master? The Yunshao sect elder glared angrily and wanted to speak but was stopped by Enchanting. If not for me, all of you would have been slain by the Yuehua sect master. As Enchanting said that, those people charged towards the crowd with chortles. The scene fell into chaos once again. Originally, these 10 or so people were nothing to be fearful of, but an increasing number of super sect disciples went crazy after breathing in the strange smell and joined the camp of those people. This is bad, Enchanting frowned deeply. If this continued, everyone would probably die here. Leave. After ordering the Blood Moon Elder to leave, Enchanting used her primordial chi which allowed her to boost her speed to the maximum as she ran forward. The third palace was 1,000 meters away. Enchanting's the fastest. She opened the huge iron door in the blink of an eye and entered the third palace. There was a giant stone statue of a lady in the third palace. The lady carved out of stone had stunning beauty and was almost lifelike in appearance. A small gold bottle stood quietly in her hands. That was also where the smell came from it. Black heaven water. Enchanting's expression changed slightly. Her goal of entering the mystic realm from the very start was for the black heaven water. But after entering the 100-level peril hell of Avicenaraka, she no longer had any desire to search for the black heaven water. Yet unexpectedly, the black heaven water was actually in the hands of a stone statue in the third palace. Enchanting did not rashly retrieve the black heaven water at the first moment but inspected the stone statue before her carefully instead. When Enchanting confirmed that there was no issue with the stone statue, she leaped up and retrieved the black heaven water in the stone statue's hand. However, the moment when Enchanting obtained it, her vision suddenly blurred when her eyes swept over the stone statue again. Her mind was in a whirl, and it was as though she did not even have the strength to stand up. Time passed. It seemed like the blink of an eye, yet also like an entire century. Enchanting finally regained strength. But the moment she opened her eyes, Enchanting was stunned, and her eyes suddenly dilated. There was no mysterious palace nor 100-level peril hell of Avicenaraka. At this instant, Enchanting shockingly found out that she was no longer in that strange palace or even at any corner in the hell of Avicenaraka but at a stable and prosperous imperial city. Standing rooted to the ground, Enchanting scanned her surroundings with a strange expression. Every place that her eyes landed on felt extremely familiar. A figure suddenly appeared before Enchanting. It was a lady with extraordinary beauty, but at that instant, that lattice face was filled with fluster, and her steps were hurried as though she was escaping. "That is, me." Shock flashed across Enchanting's eyes as she looked at that frantic lady. That lady clearly had the same exact face as her. Just as Enchanting was shocked, angry cries suddenly traveled to her ears. The heart of the demon god appeared. "Capture that woman. As long as we catch her, the heart of the demon god is ours." Enchanting looked in the direction of the voice and saw a group of people crazily chasing after her. However, the faces of those people were very familiar to Enchanting. "This is the second mainland's Central Dynasty." Enchanting mumbled as disbelief filled her eyes. Everything here was more than familiar. The memories that she tried hard to forget actually replayed before her eyes again. In her previous life, she came to the second mainland by chance 10 years later, and the place she was standing right now was the largest central dynasty of the second mainland. The central dynasty had one of the most powerful forces in the second mainland, and even the super sects on the second mainland could not be compared to it. In her previous life, Enchanting entered an academy and continued to cultivate after entering the second mainland. However, it was on this day in her previous life when the sacred martial academy which she entered discovered her heart of the demon god. Find authorized novels in Webnovel Faster Updates. Better experience, please click for visiting. When her heart of the demon god was discovered, the entire sacred martial academy was deployed to obtain the heart of the demon god in her body. After Enchanting escaped, this news traveled to the ears of the royal family in the central dynasty. Thus, it sent many powerful royals to encircle and kill Enchanting. And it was on this day in her previous life where her best friend died at the scene in order to protect her. Could this be my mental demons? Enchanting shook her head. She clearly remembered that she was in the hell of Avicenaraka. However, as the piercing sound rang, Enchanting ran forward without having time to think deeply. Some time later, Enchanting followed those powerful figures who chased after her life and arrived at a deserted land. "Hand the demon god over." "Ha! Enchanting, it is a waste for the heart of the demon god to be in your body." Some youngsters scoffed as they looked at the lady who was cornered. Why? Why must you all do this to me? The lad's face was full of despair and panic. They were her senior brothers and sisters who stuck together through life and death in the past. Why would they corner her to this point just for a heart of the demon god? Enchanting, hand the heart of the demon god over. A few elderlies rushed over very quickly. President, the lady was in disbelief as she looked at the Sacred Martial Academy's president who was once friendly and compassionate. The current president was like a whole other person, no longer the president she knew. Swoosh! At that instant, numerous powerful figures from the royal family of the Central Dynasty stood in the air and towered over the lady. One of them stared at the lady indifferently and scoffed. Enchanting, hand the heart of the demon god to me. Yuqingqiu, she was in utter disbelief as she looked at that female royal who looked down at her without any emotions. Qingqiu, why? Have you forgotten? I was the one who supported you in stabilizing your position as the princess. If I hand the heart to you, I will die. After hearing that, the female royal sneered scornfully. You're a useless thing who does not have a spirit root. With the heart of the demon god in you, it's only a reckless waste of natural resources. I'm very thankful to you for helping me to ascend to the position as the princess. Since that's the case, you can help me to the end. Hand the heart of the demon god to me. Enchanting suddenly narrowed her eyes as she watched the scene before her. A feeling of depression that had been repressed for a long time seeped out of her chest. In her previous life, after arriving at the central mainland, she cultivated in the Sacred Martial Academy. That was where she got acquainted with a genius disciple in the academy, Yuqingqiu. Yuqingqiu's identity was actually the illegitimate daughter of the emperor of the central royal family. Back then, Enchanting supported Yuqingqiu fully and ultimately helped her to ascend to the position as the eldest princess of the central dynasty. Enchanting treated Yuqingqiu as her close friend, yet she never expected that she wanted to snatch her heart of the demon god today. Clank! A cold glint flickered in Enchanting's eyes. She drew her demonic blood sword out immediately and slashed at Yuqingqiu. Swoosh! The blood-colored sword slide disappeared after a second as though it slashed in the air. Yuqingqiu's body was not injured at all, and even more so, this attack did not attract the attention of anyone at all. It was as if they did not sense anything. The savage and arrogant laughter on their face remained. Enchanting was slightly shaken when her sword slashed in the air. The murderous intent in her eyes subsequently faded as she chuckled. This place is indeed my reverse mental demons. All of this is merely my obsession. The scene before her was a memory in the deepest corner of her mind that she could not bear to recall. The current her was only an onlooker and nothing more, Yuqingqiu. I can understand, if people want to snatch my heart of the demon god. But why the Sacred Martial Academy, and you want to kill me as well? Does benefit override everything in this world? The lady was filled with despair, with grief and resentment clearly seen on her face. Enchanting, cut the crap. Hand the heart of the demon god over. We will not take your life. Humph. What has your life or death got to do with us? We only want the heart of the demon god. As for your life or death, it will be left to the heavens to decide. Everyone from Sacred Martial Academy had a cold attitude. To them, the heart of the demon god was what they truly wanted. As for Enchanting, she was merely a sacrifice in their struggle for the heart of the demon god. Chapter 601, Mental Demons. 1. Before this extraordinary gain, had they ever thought of Enchanting as their companion? The moment those people spoke, a few shadows from far away darted towards them. The leader of the group was donned in a dragon robe. Standing afar, he had an overbearing aura that was so mighty it was as though it could crush everything in the world. The Emperor of Central Dynasty, as the onlooker, Enchanting's brows were furrowed as she watched that man who was standing in the air. Central Dynasty and Sacred Martial Academy were her archenemies. One day, she would still head to the Central Dynasty, and at that time, she would definitely erase their names from this world. Hand the heart of the demon god over. The Emperor of the Central Dynasty looked at the lady unsympathetically as though he was looking at a tiny ant. Currently, the lady was already at a dead end. Ha ha ha, Enchanting. I told you to be on your guard against Enchanting and the Sacred Martial Academy, but you didn't listen. Do you regret it now? However, in this desperate situation, a cold laugh suddenly reverberated throughout the place. Everyone looked at the sky immediately. A giant ape descended from the sky and landed near the lady gradually. His huge frame guarded in front of the lady. Beta Demon Lord of the Demon Clan. Beta Demon Lord, the #1 talent of the ape clan's descendants. Many onlookers discussed after seeing that giant ape. Brother, when Enchanting saw the giant ape who protected the lady behind him, she shivered as the past memories floated to her mind. In her previous life, Enchanting finally became a holy venerate after 300 years. In these 300 years, she had a total of 6 sworn brothers, and this giant ape from the demon clan of the Central Dynasty was one of them. Addressed as Beta Demon Lord by others, he was one of the 10 top talents on this mainland and held a place on the talent roll. Beta Demon Lord, could it be that you wish to take a share of the loot as well? Enchanting looked at Beta Demon Lord. Beta Demon Lord scoffed. Enchanting is my sworn younger sister. No matter how heartless I am, I will not attack my own sister. Seeming to hear the meaning behind Beta Demon Lord's words, a royal from the Central Dynasty said, Beta Demon Lord, this has nothing to do with you. It's better not to get into trouble. Your demon clan and we, Central Dynasty royals, are already on bad terms. Do you still wish to deepen the conflict? Ha! Beta Demon Lord laughed loudly out of a sudden. I, Beta Demon Lord, may be an ape from the demon clan, but I don't represent the demon clan on this mainland. Today's incident is solely my intention and has nothing to do with the demon clan. As the Beta Demon Lord finished his sentence, his body enlarged instantly and extended several hundred meters. It was though he was a giant demon that covered the sky. Enchanting, leave. Immediately, the giant ape grabbed Enchanting and sprinted forward. Behind them was the pitch-black Dead Sea with a turbulent storm in the air above it. The giant ape brought the lady and crossed into the Dead Sea. Everyone present was appalled by the sight. As Enchanting watched Beta Demon Lord enter the Black Dead Sea, she hollered furiously. Beta Demon Lord, are you crazy? That is the Sea of Death. No matter how powerful you are, you will still be torn into pieces by the turbulent storm once you enter the Dead Sea. Ha ha ha, Beta Demon Lord laughed loudly. Don't you all want my sister's heart of the demon god? Why? Are you all scared of this Dead Sea now? However, Beta Demon Lord did not utter a single word and walked several miles in the Sea of Death before arriving at an unknown island. The moment Beta Demon Lord's feet stepped on the island. Boom! A loud sound erupted. Beta Demon Lord's huge frame collapsed with a crash. As gushes of blood from his body dyed the ground, his vitality disappeared rapidly. Brother! The lady felt a piercing pain in her eyes as she watched the giant ape turn back into a normal human. Ha! Ha! The ape said between pants. Enchanting, that year, when we became sworn siblings. I said that I would do my duty as the older brother. Now, I have done it. The lady wept silently as she held on to the pair of furry hands. You You have a simple and kind heart. It's a good thing, but also a bad one. In this world, one may know a person's face, but not his heart. From now on, you must not tell anyone about the heart of the demon god in your body. The ape's body quivered, and color slowly drained from his eyes as though he was at the point of death. I hate that I have not saved my father, nor have I become the number one in the demon clan. I am not resigned to this. I hate this so much. The ape muttered. A repressed sound escaped from Beidou Demon Lord's blood-stained lips, and his furry hands clutched on Enchanting tightly. Suddenly, all force was lost from his hands, which hung down weakly right after. Brother! The lady screamed in grief. For 3 whole days, the lady sat beside the ape without consuming anything. With no more tears left to cry, her empty eyes were filled with repression as she looked at the ape beside her. If not for her, how would Beidou Demon Lord have died? If not for her, Enchanting stood there for a long time. As she watched herself from her previous life sit in front of Beidou Demon Lord, it was as if a huge boulder weighed down on her heart. Even if she knew the scene before her was only an illusion from her previous life, but she once again saw the scene of her brother dying because of her. After a long time, the lady buried Beidou Demon Lord there and walked into the forest. Once the lady left, Enchanting walked forward and knelt before Beidou Demon Lord's new grave. She swore to herself with a firm expression in her eyes. Brother! In this lifetime, I will definitely protect your safety. Beidou Demon Lord was her first sworn brother in her previous lifetime and died on this unnamed island in order to protect her. His dream was not even accomplished. I, Enchanting, swear to destroy Sacred Martial Academy in Central Dynasty and to help brother to rescue his father. In this life, I must not let brother have a tragic death. Enchanting obtained a bottle of wine from her space ring. She drank half of the bottle and subsequently poured the other half in front of the grave. This was the Beidou Demon Lord from her previous life, but she was reborn and time reversed. In this life, Beidou Demon Lord was still alive. As Enchanting looked at herself from her past life cultivate painstakingly every day, she did not know what to feel. After Beidou Demon Lord had sent her to this island in her previous life, Enchanting lived on this island for half a year and discovered some secrets of the origins of the Demon Clan and the Central Dynasty royals from the relics on the island. One day when the turbulent storms of the Dead Sea disappeared, Enchanting finally left this place. After leaving the Sea of Death, Enchanting headed to other mainlands and never returned here. These are my mental demons. You wish to make use of my mental demons and trap me in it forever, don't you? Enchanting's eyes were firm. Despite all the twists and turns, her mind was still as resolute. She scoffed. That's looking down on me too much already. Holy lady, suddenly, a vague voice sounded from nowhere. As this voice emerged, the sky shattered into pieces immediately like glass. Once Enchanting opened her eyes, she realized that she had returned to the third palace. At that instant, Enchanting was holding the demonic blood sword and pointed it straight at the Blood Moon Elder. Holy lady, wake up. I'm going to retaliate. The Blood Moon Elder shouted at Enchanting frantically. Previously, the Blood Moon Elder followed Enchanting into the third palace, but he suddenly saw Enchanting holding onto the demonic blood sword and slashing towards him instantly, behaving no different from those who had lost their minds. Chapter 604, The Inscrutable Hearts of People, 1. At that instant, Enchanting had already broken free from the screen of her mental demons and regained mental clarity. You want to retaliate? Enchanting looked at the Blood Moon Elder. Holy lady, you're awake. The Blood Moon Elder was slightly stunned when he saw Enchanting speak. Enchanting nodded. I fell into my mental demons earlier, but I have broken free from it already. After hearing Enchanting's words, the Blood Moon Elder had a shocked expression. Mental demons. Enchanting looked down at the black heaven water in her hands. There seems to be something wrong with this black heaven water. Enchanting mumbled. The Blood Moon Elder walked forward immediately and looked at the black heaven water. Holy Lady, can I have a look? The Blood Moon Elder asked. Enchanting handed the black heaven water to the Blood Moon Elder directly. Currently, Enchanting had already trusted the Blood Moon Elder and was not worried that he would snatch her black heaven water away. After inspecting it for a long time, he covered the mouth of the bottle, and a black mist emerged from his palm subsequently. About a few breaths later, a pitch-black plant about the size of a thumb was sucked out from the mouth of the bottle by the Blood Moon Elder. This is Ghostwood Root. The Blood Moon Elder was surprised, and even Enchanting's brows were furrowed. The Ghostwood Root was a plant that grew in lands that were condensed with grievance, and it was bred using grievance. It only formed after 100 years of growth, and this ghostwood root that was about the size of a thumb required at least 200 years to grow. The ghostwood root emitted a faint scent. Once a cultivator breathed it in, they would hallucinate and be trapped in his deepest mental demons. The ghostwood root itself is not scary, and the diffusion of its scent is extremely limited, but when it's placed in the black heaven water, the effects are multiplied by at least a few times. Enchanting frowned deeply as she pondered. When they entered the hell of Avicenaraka, everything seemed to be designed by someone. Cultivators like them who entered the hell of Avicenaraka were like chess pieces which were controlled and toyed by someone. What exactly is going on? The Blood Moon Elder was rather anxious. Looking back, it seemed like they were manipulated by an invisible hand throughout, including entering this mysterious palace. Enchanting looked behind her. In the second palace, more than 10 people were in a frenetic state and fighting each other with their lives. A golden flame emerged in Enchanting's palm immediately, burning the ghostwood root into ashes. At the same time, the people in the second palace who were originally killing others suddenly stopped. As the ghostwood root was completely burnt, the bewitching scent no longer persisted, and everyone naturally sobered up. What happened? I seem to be stuck in an illusion just now. The people in the second palace were very puzzled. Suddenly the Yunshao sect elder caught sight of Enchanting, who held the black heaven water from the corner of his eyes. Black heaven water. After seeing the black heaven water in Enchanting's hands, the Yunshao sect elder's expression changed immediately. The preciousness of the black heaven water was no less than that of the Paragon Dharma treasures on this mainland. Everyone knew that the black heaven water could cleanse the spirit root and evolve its physique. It was a rare treasure that could cause the super sects to go crazy over. However, this item was extremely hard to come by, and normal people simply did not even have the chance to see it. Is that the black heaven water in your hands? The Yunshao sect elder flew towards Enchanting immediately and locked his eyes on the item in Enchanting's hands. Chapter 605, The Inscrutable Hearts of People, 2, So What If It Is? Enchanting scoffed. The Yunshao sect elder never hid his thoughts. He did take a fancy on the black heaven water in Enchanting's hand. Fellow, hand the black heaven water to me. The Yunshao sect elder's expression was cold as ice as he stretched a hand out to Enchanting. Hand it to you. Enchanting found it funny. This black heaven water is mine. Why must I hand it to you? At this instant, more and more super sects disciples and wardens noticed the black heaven water in Enchanting's hands. Divide the black heaven water with everyone. That's right. We risked our lives to enter this mysterious palace and almost died in here. How can we let you enjoy this big destiny alone? Black heaven water. all of us should have a share. It should be divided amongst all of us. Many disciples and wardens shouted angrily. This black heaven water was extremely rare, and now that they had seen it, how would they let it go? Ha! Enchanting's lips curled, and a cold sneer appeared on her face. As her eyes swept across everyone at the scene, she said, "If not for me, all of you would have died in your mental demons. Yet, you all still want me to share this black heaven water out equally now. What a joke. We relied on our own abilities and walked out of our mental demons. It has nothing to do with you. You must want to have this black heaven water for yourself alone. That's right. Aren't you too selfish? If you don't divide the black heaven water out today, don't blame us for being heartless." Enchanting could not help but recall her past life as she looked at the **love faces in the palace. In her past life, she had seen too many of these scenes because of the heart of the demon god. Today, others forced her to hand the black heaven water over, but in her past life, it was to force her to hand the heart of the demon god over. Ha! Sure. Enchanting scoffed coldly and directly threw that golden bottle to the Yunshao sect elder. Currently, the black heaven water is no longer with me. If you all want it, ask for it from the Yunshao sect elder. Enchanting sneered. Enchanting had already expected this situation. Thus, she had already stored the black heaven water in her space ring earlier on. As for the golden bottle, she had already changed it into consumable clear water a long time ago. However, the black heaven water had been stored in the golden bottle for a long time, and even if it was replaced with clear water, the smell of the black heaven water was still extremely strong. Thus, no one would know that Enchanting had already switched it. After everyone saw Enchanting hand the black heaven water over to the Yunshao sect elder, everyone's eyes shifted away from Enchanting and landed on the Yunshao sect elder. At that moment, the Yunshao sect elder treated it as a treasure and kept it immediately. Yunshao sect elder, what is the meaning of this? Do you want to hog the black heaven water for yourself? Seeing that the Yunshao sect elder did not intend to hand the black heaven water over, everyone apart from the Yunshao sect disciples was infuriated. While the Yunshao sect disciples were angry as well, they did not dare to speak their minds out. After all, he was an elder from their sect, and they could not say anything. Humph. The Yunshao sect elder sneered. 100 years ago, my Yunshao sect once had a portion of black heaven water but lost it later on. In my opinion, the black heaven water in this hell of a Visinaraka was the one that Yunshao sect lost back then. Is there anything wrong for me to retrieve my sect's item? What did you say? Yunshao sect elder, do you treat us as fools? When did your sect have the black heaven water? Even if it had the black heaven water, it has been lost for hundreds of years. What has it got to do with the black heaven water in this mystic realm? People from other super sects in the second palace sneered coldly. Chapter 606, The Inscrutable Hearts of People, 3. However, no one dared to move even though they felt that the Yunshao sect elder was deceiving them. After all, he was an elder of Yunshao sect. If they entered into a conflict here, people were afraid that it would result in a conflict between sects should they leave this place alive. However, everyone was unwilling to let the Yunshao sect elder keep the black heaven water for himself. As everyone was forcing the Yunshao sect elder to hand the black heaven water over, a black fog suddenly floated above everyone. The black fog suddenly formed into a male who was completely wrapped in a black robe. How interesting! The black-robed man's sinister laughter echoed throughout the entire hall. Upon hearing that voice, everyone immediately looked toward that black-robed man. Who are you? A super sect warden shouted at the black-robed man angrily. The black-robed man remained silent. The pair of eyes that were only revealed looked at Enchanting quietly but looked away very quickly. Who exactly are you? The Yunshao sect elder sized up the black-robed man. However, the black robe was wrapped around the person securely, and it was impossible to see the person's face. Who I am is not important. The black-robed man laughed apathetically. The original plan is for you all to die here. It's truly weird. I placed the ghostwood root in the black heaven water, and according to logic, the effect of the ghostwood root should be strengthened multiple folds. All of you should have been trapped in your mental demons, making you all kill each other. The black-robed man mumbled, seeming to be speaking to himself yet also seeming to be telling everyone. Enchanting's eyes were fixed on that black-robed man, and puzzlement filled her eyes. Although this black-robed man deliberately spoke with a soft voice, Enchanting somehow felt that it was rather familiar. As the black-robed man finished his sentence, everyone was astounded. Being trapped in our mental demons was actually your doing. Who exactly are you? Why do you want to harm us? Everyone in the hall was enraged immediately. They almost died in this palace, and the main culprit was actually this black-robed man before them. Ha! Who I am is actually not important. The black-robed man shook his head and laughed. You all were sinners the moment you are born. Starting this 100-level peril hell of Avicenaraka was merely to use your blood to cleanse these sins in the world. Nonsense. How could someone be able to control the danger level of a mystic realm? If you don't speak the truth, I will slaughter you today. The Yunshao sect elder shouted furiously. Ignorant. The black-robed man scoffed. I originally wanted to use the ghostwood root to kill all of you, but it seems that this plan has failed. Since that's the case, let me personally release you sinners. Afterward, the black-robed man formed a print with his palms. Boom boom. In the next second, the entire palace rocked crazily and emitted loud rumbles. Very quickly, a blood-colored light enshrouded the entire palace. An endless sea of blood condensed from the red light and surged into the hall instantly. Extermination of life formation. After noticing the situation, the expressions of the Yunshao sect elder and other powerful figures changed drastically. The extermination of life formation was an extremely high-level and dangerous formation. In less than 15 minutes, any living beings in it would turn into blood water. This hall actually has the extermination of life formation. How can it be? For a moment, everyone in the palace was utterly frantic and could not believe it. In this case, the hell of Avicenaraka realm is simply a huge scheme. Even the supposed fiend celestial beast is also a big lie that was let out for this scheme. One of the super sect elders shouted. Chapter 607, The Extermination of Life Formation, 1, Hehe, the hell of Avicenaraka is indeed a conspiracy. However, the fiend celestial beast is not a lie. There was a fiend celestial beast that ran into the hell of Avicenaraka a few hundred years ago. Actually, it has nothing to do with the fiend celestial beast. Ultimately, your sin stems from desire and greed. The black-robed man turned into a ball of black fog and disappeared. As the black-robed man disappeared, the palace was in total chaos. Run! The extermination of life formation is turned on. We shall open the door together. The huge door of the hall was closed, and all exits were sealed off as the black-robed man left. Everyone took out their Dharma treasures and weapons and initiated strong attacks towards the huge door that determined their survival. However, though everyone combined their forces, the huge door remained intact. Enchanting frowned. She looked at the Blood Moon Elder beside her and said, "Do you have any method to break the extermination of life formation?" The Blood Moon Elder contemplated for a while and said, "It shouldn't be a problem if I'm given enough time. However, under the current situation, before I can break the extermination of life formation, we will die here. Enchanting did not say anything and took out the remaining talismans from her space ring. There were 3 talismans remained. 2 of them were from the little disciple of the Yunshao sect master that she killed. The last one was from the drained well in the blood-colored city. Hee hee. Enchanting, I did not expect you to have the space transfer talisman. Suddenly, the black-robed man's deep voice came out of nowhere. The rest in the hall were busy attacking the huge door, and no one noticed the black-robed man's voice. However, Enchanting was slightly shocked after hearing his words. Her disguise was considered rather successful, even her parents might not recognize her. However, the black-robed man could see through her disguise. May I know what you are? Enchanting scanned through her surroundings, but there was no trace of the black-robed man. There was no reply as well. It seemed that the black-robed man had left. Holy Lady, did the black-robed man mention the space transfer talisman? The Blood Moon Elder stared at the talisman in Enchanting's hands and asked. Yes, Enchanting nodded. That was what the black-robed man referred to just now. The 2 talismans that Enchanting got from the Yunshao sect disciple were not space transfer talismans. The only one left would be the mysterious talisman that she obtained from the city. The talisman was black in color and was engraved with mysterious words. It seemed that there was really turbulence of space energy within. Holy Lady, I did sense that there was some space energy turbulence in the black talisman. However, the black-robed man was awed. Why would he tell you that this is the space transfer talisman? I am scared that it's a conspiracy, the Blood Moon Elder said seriously. The black-robed man's intention was to let everyone here die in the hall. It seemed that the black-robed man accidentally told Enchanting that she had a space transfer talisman, but it was apparent that he said it on purpose. We can only give it a try now. Otherwise, we will die in the extermination of life formation and turn into a pool of blood. Enchanting frowned heavily. They could only try the talisman as there was no other option. We're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.